Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about Uranus conjunct to the North Node in Synastry, this fun, exciting aspect. Oh my goodness. So this one is really electrifying, and the Uranus person comes into the North Node person's life like a shock to their system. And they can be wildly and irresistibly attracted to the Uranus person while simultaneously feeling very, not unsafe, but like uneasy with their energy. So there's something very Uranian or Aquarius about the Uranus person, at least perceived by the node person, where they really feel like they've found this like eccentric, oddball, genius, electrifying person. And they want them, and well, if they're going towards their North Node, if they're, already on that path, they want them. But they're also very uncomfortable in their presence. And usually the North Node person, if they do coexist in this relationship for any length of time, even a short time, but especially if it's a longer term relationship, they are forced to transform, and sometimes they definitely can feel like it's against their will. The pull of the Uranus person towards their destiny, towards their path of growth, right? Because the North Node represents growth, and it represents, a point of fate or destiny, but it can be really uncomfortable to go there because it's always directly opposite the South Node, which is like our comfort zone. So the North Node person is like forcibly put onto a new timeline that, at the time they might not feel like they like it, but it is actually for their highest good. And the Uranus person is actually giving them a gift, and it is a gift of freedom. And so when you see this contact, you can know that the node person is actually being given this gift of freedom and transformation by the Uranus person. And the Uranus person also feels really drawn to the North Node person because they feel like this person can let them be themselves. Like they can feel really able to express that Uranus energy with this person, or not even necessarily able to express it, but it comes out with the node person for whatever reason. Well, because of this conjunction, right? And so the Uranus person can feel really electric around the North Node person as well. But what can often happen is, for whatever reason, because, Uranus is not a super stable energy, the Uranus person can suddenly enter the life of the North Node person and just as suddenly decide that they are going to leave the life of the node person. And usually it's because the node person might feel like to the Uranus person that they're going to impinge on their freedom, or they're going to, try to control them or try to tie them down or something like that. And you'll really see the Uranus person's Uranus, like the sign of that Uranus, those qualities coming out. So even if the Uranus person is not strongly Uranian or Aquarian, it's like because of this conjunction, they become like their Uranus on overload, and that can cause them to, also suddenly depart from the life of the North Node person. So you can definitely see this aspect showing up in a lot of short-term flings where there's a sudden like shock into a new timeline. And that's, generally the vibe of it. They also can do a lot of transformative work together, and this is something that I feel like is not often, but doesn't often get the chance to really come out, because the Uranus person can react so suddenly in wanting to leave the node person's life because they feel like their freedom is starting to be infringed upon, and the node person can feel really uncomfortable around the Uranus person because it's just such a shock to the system, right? And as much as they're attracted to them, they can also be repulsed by that energy and feel like they're just kind of this like crazy rebel with no regard for anything that they've like value, or like Uranus is like the opposite of Saturn. So like the way that they grew up, it's like the Uranus person is like contrary to everything they know and believe, and it's like they can really have a kind of look down at them at times, if they're not really seeing this gift that they're offering, or they're not really open to that energy. So because of that, this common dynamic, sometimes this relationship does not last long, and so the growth doesn't get to come from it. Because what's really like what your soul is calling you to do, if you have someone's Uranus conjunct your North Node, is you are being given the opportunity to like go full force forward into your destiny. And there can be a very spiritual connection with this conjunction. It's like you both have set up this contract in a past life where the Uranus person is going to get this really good opportunity to embody that energy, and really like stand strong in their individuality and who they are, and their, you know, like eccentricity, right? And then the node person is being given the opportunity to like fast track their destiny towards the North Node. But that is not always comfortable, and actually that can be painful. So you want to look at the sign that this conjunction is taking place. That is the dominant theme of this relationship. That is like one of the purposes of the relationship, is mastering that sign's energy. And then you can also look at the house placement of the North Node person's North Node to see the area of life that the Uranus person is like dropping a bomb on, right? And yeah, when you look back on this relationship, you'll see the transformation, you'll see the growth, and you'll appreciate it. But during it, it definitely, it can be triggering, but it can also be very enlightening. And there is this feeling of electricity. There is a ton of attraction to each other, and like this feeling that we've found like this long lost soul tie, but it's in a more impersonal sense almost. Like, so that's why, you know, you'd have to have some other strong Saturn energy going on in your relationship chart to really ground this, because it's not necessarily a romantic vibe. Although we're attracted to each other, it's like in a very friendly, open-minded way. So you could see this in a relationship where one person, probably the Uranus person or both people, don't want to label it, or don't want to like tie the other down, right? Because it's a very freedom-centric relationship. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of spiritual awareness that can come through. The Uranus person can really tap into like a divine flow of inspiration and intuition by being around the North Node person. And they can really also get a sense of their unique individuality, and they can actually, like I said, they become a stronger version of that Uranus. They become more like an Aquarian, because of the association. And then the node person, like I said, gets that sudden shocking impetus to go towards the North Node, and that can be very healing. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. Was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys, and keep your requests coming in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.